The sun came out in Portland in January, so we're shooting street photos.
Top, top, top of the morning, shine on Mr. Sun. Top, top, top of the morning, it's time for having fun.
Now, I don't necessarily consider myself to be a street photographer, so naturally I only made it about 1.5 minutes on my feet before I dipped into a coffee shop to stall and try and convince myself with caffeine that I could do this. But since we're here, why don't we talk about the camera I'll be using? This is the Contax G2, which is an electronic rangefinder that shoots 35mm film. The lens I'll be shooting with is the Carl Zeiss 28mm 2.8. Atop my camera is a GoPro, so you can see my point of view as I shoot. This camera stack drew a lot of funny looks. Despite the sun, the streets were pretty quiet this day, so I did my best to not draw too much attention to myself, and I chose to wear headphones to not only zone in myself, but to appear preoccupied to others as well. A few months back, I personally committed to shooting only black and white film for an entire year, which is why I'm shooting all of these photos in grayscale. But even without my own challenge in place, I feel like black and white is perfectly suitable for street photos, especially on a day like today where the light is so interesting. Black and white photography depends on dynamic light and shapes, which is why I quite literally ran out the door when I saw that the sun had come out. This first roll I'm shooting is Street Pan 400 from Japan Camera Hunter, which has amazing dynamic range and is just so soft and gorgeous. I'll also be shooting a roll of Ilford HP5 and CineStill XX later on. Take this scene as an example of crazy awesome light and shapes. And then the window reflection gave it an added benefit of becoming an accidental self-portrait. One of the most common techniques in street photography is finding a composition and then waiting for your subject to pass through the frame. When I saw the diagonal light on this garage door, I knew I loved it, but I didn't necessarily like how busy it was when these 4 people walked through. So I decided to wait until just one person came along, which I knew would happen eventually. And bam, just like that, a simple composition is made so much more interesting by the light behind the subject. As the day went on, the light only got better as it poured through the streets of Portland during lunch hour. Here's another example of a shot where I saw a beautiful patch of light and had to wait for the right passerbys for the photo I wanted. Three, two, one. I wish I could say I got more confident as the day went on, but I really just kept taking a lot of photos of the back of people. Whoops. I mean, there's always room for improvement, right? One of the most difficult parts about street photography is seeing all the shots that you miss.
Damn it.
That couple I just passed, so stylish, so happy, but now they're gone. This guy with his adorable dog, missed it. This guy at the bus stop staring right at me, gone. This guy who is perfectly freaking backlit, missed it. These two with their pups, missed it. But we move on, and we try not to think about it for too long. And what can't a really insanely good sandwich heal, you know? So that was a wrap on day one of oddly nice weather in Portland in January. Now on to surprisingly sunny day number 2.
Hi. Do you mind if I take a photo of the shop? Great, thank you.
I appreciate black and white so much because color just simply becomes a non-issue when you're finding compositions. At first it's a little weird because suddenly you have to focus in on the shape of things or the light on things rather than the color of them. But as I've continued to shoot black and white over the last few months, I feel so liberated from the freedom of color. I ended up walking a much different part of the town this day. I wanted to capture the quieter, more homey side of the city, so I went to all my favorite streets. This part of town is full of quaint shops, award-winning eateries, and has charm like no other. But it was another really quiet day with not much hustle and bustle, so I leaned in and followed suit and ended up photographing quite a bit of still life. This very abandoned business had some amazing light and piles of mail at the door, which made for a very interesting scene. You can see me trying to get a shot without my shadow in it at first, and then I fully gave in for the second shot and put myself right into the composition. There are surprisingly a lot of ways black and white can end up looking. If you want to learn more about the film stocks I used specifically in this video, be sure to check out the article I have linked in the description. It'll give you a nice comparison of the different variations of black and white I shot. And if you want to see more of my year-long journey only shooting monochrome, you can check out my photography channel, Graincheck. Like Raincheck, but with a G. That's where I'm documenting it all, so come join me over there if you're into that kind of thing. Now, I don't know why, but this tree had me in somewhat of a chokehold. Something about how fluffy that trunk is just so lovely to me. Anyway, here are some photos I snagged when my GoPro wasn't on. I hope you enjoy them, and don't forget about the power of black and white.